Terra Minor Rights Foundation, we work to protect and advance every child's right to education, safety, privacy, and expression. Guided by the UNCRC, we create innovative solutions and advocacy that ensure lasting progress and sustainability.
Good morning. Today's lesson explores a powerful legal tool for social change, the Public Interest Litigation, or PIL. We will focus on how a child rights PIL can transform the abstract idea of child safety into a legally enforceable reality. When tragedies like crowd crushes occur, which the sources tell us are not stampedes but preventable organizational failures, the question of accountability becomes urgent. A PIL argues that the failure to protect children in public spaces is a violation of their fundamental constitutional rights to life and dignity. This lesson will detail how such a legal action can drive accountability across all levels. We will examine how a PIL can compel authorities and event organizers to adopt mandatory life-saving protocols, such as written risk assessments and crowd density management. We will then see how it can hold politicians accountable for enacting systemic policies, like the zero-tolerance framework seen in the Gujarat model. Good morning. Today we're discussing how a public interest litigation, or PIL, can be used as a powerful legal tool to ensure safe spaces for our children. A PIL shifts the conversation about child safety from a voluntary effort to a legally enforceable duty. When events lead to tragedy, it's not enough to blame individuals. We must address the systemic failures that allowed it to happen. A child rights PIL argues that the failure to provide safe environments is a violation of a child's fundamental right to life and dignity, as guaranteed by the Indian Constitution and international conventions. This legal action doesn't just seek punishment after the fact, it aims to build a proactive, preventative framework. It's a tool that can compel governments, event organizers, and even guide parental education to create a culture where child safety is non-negotiable. This presentation will walk through how a PIL can hold authorities, politicians, and parents accountable and mandate the training necessary to make safe spaces a reality for every child. The primary responsibility for safety at public gatherings lies with the organizers and authorities. Too often, tragedies are dismissed as stampedes, a misleading term that blames victims instead of exposing poor planning and mismanagement. A PIL can cut through this by demanding that best practice guidelines, like the Cambridgeshire model, become legally mandatory for all events. This means requiring every event to appoint a trained children's safeguarding coordinator for strategic oversight. It means no event permit is granted without a written children's risk assessment that identifies potential hazards like substance misuse or criminal perpetrators. Furthermore, a PIL can mandate the establishment of clearly marked lost children points and ensure all staff with supervisory contact with children undergo rigorous vetting and background checks. By turning these guidelines into court-ordered directives, a PIL ensures that safety is engineered by design, not left to chance. While event organizers manage the on-the-ground safety, politicians and policymakers are responsible for building the entire ecosystem of child protection. A PIL can hold them accountable for systemic failures. It can advocate for the adoption of a contextual safeguarding approach, which moves beyond individual cases to make entire environments, like schools, parks, and online spaces, safer for all children. A powerful demand within a PIL would be the mandatory enactment of state-level child protection policies using the Gujarat State Child Protection Policy as a model. This would legally obligate every single organization, public or private, to adopt a zero-tolerance policy towards child abuse and exploitation. The PIL can also compel multi-agency collaboration, ensuring that police, schools, transport providers, and community groups work together, breaking down silos to create a seamless web of protection. This is how a PIL drives long-term sustainable change from the top down. A PIL doesn't seek to punish parents. Instead, It argues that the state has a fundamental duty to empower them with the knowledge and tools to fulfill their protective roles. When a traumatic event occurs, the psychological impact on children can be profound and long-lasting, with symptoms varying widely by age. Preschoolers might regress, showing behaviors like bedwetting, while adolescents might withdraw or engage in high-risk activities. Most parents are not equipped to recognize these signs or know how to respond effectively. A PIL can demand court-ordered, government-funded public awareness campaigns to educate parents on recognizing these trauma symptoms. These campaigns would also teach crucial post-trauma support techniques, like providing reassurance, maintaining routines, and answering questions honestly, without dwelling on frightening details. This is about providing parents with the training they need to be the first and most important line of emotional defense for their children. Ultimately, accountability is meaningless without the competence to act. The final crucial demand of a child rights PIL is to mandate comprehensive training for all stakeholders. For event staff and law enforcement, this means certified training not just on crowd control, but on the science of crowd dynamics. Understanding that density, not size, is the critical factor, and that a crowd can behave like a fluid above 5 people per square meter. It also means mandatory training on child-centric emergency procedures and trauma-informed responses. For organizations, as mandated by policies like Gujarat's, it means compulsory orientation for every employee on child protection laws and how to report abuse. By making evidence-based training a legal requirement through a PIL, we transform the system from being reactive to being proactively preventative. This ensures that every person with a duty of care has the knowledge to prevent harm before it happens, fulfilling the ultimate goal of the litigation, creating genuinely safe spaces for all minors. As we conclude, it's clear that a public interest litigation is more than just a lawsuit. It's a blueprint for systemic reform. We've seen how a PIL can be strategically used to create a cascade of accountability. It starts by legally requiring event organizers to move beyond voluntary guidelines to mandatory safety protocols, like appointing safeguarding coordinators and establishing lost children points. This legal pressure then extends upwards to politicians, compelling them to adopt comprehensive state-level policies and invest in systemic approaches like contextual safeguarding, which aims to make entire communities safer. Crucially, a PIL ensures this new framework is supported by knowledge. It can mandate certified training for all stakeholders, training for police on the science of crowd crushes, training for all organizations on child protection laws, and state-sponsored education for parents on how to recognize and respond to trauma in their children. By framing child safety as a non-negotiable legal right, a PIL forges a powerful chain of responsibility, ensuring that every person with a duty of care has not only the obligation but also the training to protect our children effectively. It is a powerful mandate from the people for the people's future, our children.